Echo Link TECHLINK Conference.
VA3HES, VE3JIW, Toronto.
Good evening. This is Victor Alpha 3, Alpha Zulu Alpha, and my name is Brian. I'm the controller tonight for the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club Tuesday Night Net. The net is available, this net's available on the club's VHF repeater and Aqualink between 20:30 hours and approximately 21:45 hours local time in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. It is streamed live on YouTube, where archives of previous nets can be found. Stand by, please. To participate on the net, on the VE3MIS VHF repeater, tune 145.430 megahertz with a negative 600 kilohertz offset at a 103.5 hertz tone. To participate on Aqualink, connect to the TechLink conference, node number 9229. To listen live on YouTube and comment, search YouTube for VE3MIS. Stand by, please. The purpose, if you would like to find out more about the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club, please visit our website at www.ve3mis.ca. That's Victor Echo 3, Mike India Sierra, Charlie Alpha. Our email address is ve3mis@rac.ca. That's Victor Echo 3, Mike India Sierra, at Romeo Alpha Charlie, Charlie Alpha. Stand by, please. The purpose of this net is to pass news and views along to members and visitors of the club. It also provides experience to volunteer operators in net and emergency operating procedures. All check-ins are welcome, and we especially invite non-members to join in. Stand by, please. The Mississauga Amateur Radio Club meets virtually via Zoom conferencing software on the second and fourth Thursdays of each month. Our meetings emphasize comradeship and learning and are open to guests and visitors. See our website to learn how to join virtual meetings. Non-members who wish to attend should email ve3mis@rac.ca to obtain instructions for virtual admissions. Stand by, please. We just got a couple of little reminders for the net this evening before we get started with check-ins. And the one I've got is this. There is a club executive meeting this Thursday, March 5th, 2022, via Zoom from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. on local time here in Mississauga. A couple of little reminders about nets that are heard on the VE3MIS repeater, Cross Canada RLP. It is usually heard every Wednesday from 11 until noon local time, and that is via IRLP 9013. If you don't hear it, if you tune in between 11 and noon and you don't hear it, you can type in the numbers for the conference or for the note. 9013. On Friday night, the TechNet is usually heard on VE3MIS between 8 and 10 p.m. Local time here in Mississauga. Of course, it doesn't actually originate in Mississauga, it originates in Australia. It's not 9, 10 p.m. in Australia, but local time is between 8 and 10 p.m. And the Aqualink conference is the same as this one, number 9229. And if you don't hear it, when you tune in to the VE3MIS repeater, you can always type in those characters to connect to the conference. And you do have to press the pound sign 9229. Stand by, please. Okay, let's see. For the net this evening, there is a question or a group of questions, I guess, a cluster of questions designed to provoke discussion on a reasonably current event, I think. And let's see, I've got 3 questions. It kind of, like I say, it's a cluster. You can take a stab at anything, any of those questions, if you wish. And here they are. What role might amateur radio play in civil defense? Could or should amateur radio coordinate regular exercises with other government agencies, maybe even the armed forces? Have communication technologies newer than amateur radio displaced the role amateurs might have played in the past? And you're welcome to comment on any of those questions this evening as we go along. Stand by, please. The net will be conducted in 2 rounds, a check-in round and a 7-3 round. During the check-in round, check-ins will be called in 2 broad groups of traffic, short-time check-ins and general check-ins. Of course, we'll do short times first. Emergency check-ins are taken at any time. Sometimes mobile RF and echolink check-ins may be called by themselves to reduce the risk of doubling. Please listen carefully and check in with the group that best matches your circumstances. Finally, avoid transmitting more than 1 minute or so without keying up to prevent system timeouts. Stand by, please. Again, your controller for tonight's net is me, Ryan, and my call sign is Victor Alpha 3, Alpha Zulu Alpha. When checking in, please announce your call sign using phonetics, followed by your first name. So, we are going to start with short-time check-ins, and we'll look for short-time RF first. Short-time RF, and then we'll go on to short-time echolink after that. So if you are on RF on VE3MIS repeaters, RF only, come now, please.
VE3 Golf Delta Zulu, Gary.
Yankee Delta, Peter from Brampton.
Okay, net control acknowledges 2 check-ins there. I think I heard Peter from Brampton, VE3WYD, and I heard Gary from Etobicoke, VA3GDZ. And those are our 2 RF short-time check-ins. Let's see, before I go to you, Gary, you're at the top of the list. Let's try for some echolink short-time check-ins. So short-time means you probably won't be here for the whole net, or at least there's a possibility. If you're out there and you want to check in short-time on echolink or any other digital mode that you happen to be passing through echolink, digital only, come now, please.
Kilo Foxtrot 5, Hotel Golf Uniform, Brian. K5HQ, and yes, I am short time this evening.
Okay, net control acknowledges KF5, HCU, Bob in Texas. Okay, Bob, got you on the list here. And so we'll go to the top of our short time list, and we shall find Gary. And Gary, I did get your email. I just didn't respond to it. That's all. I will, but I did get it. So let's see, Gary. I hope all is well with you. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. You know, I haven't been on lately. I've been kind of overwhelmed with work here, but now I'm kind of in the clear for a bit. But let's pass it to Gary. Net control to VA3 GBZ.
Good evening there, Brian. Nice to hear you in there, and hi to all the gang this evening. Let's see, what is there? Oh, yeah, you must have a new mic. You sound a little bit differently. I don't see the ham conference connected in there, so I don't think if our friends from Australia or parts of the U.S. are connected yet. Maybe they'll come in a bit later. Let's hope so. Can't believe what I'm seeing on TV or on YouTube these days. It's just astounding. The price of oil, incredible. They say if we cut off Russia, it could go up to $200 a barrel. It was, what, 110 today? That means even higher inflation, because inflation was one of the things I asked about on the net that I held 2 weeks ago, about how people are managing inflation. Well, we ain't seen nothing yet. It's going to get a lot worse. A record time where we have record low interest rates and record high inflation. I don't think they even have a name for that yet, so this is something very different. Take a quick crack at your question of the day. Let me let it drop. I think, I have seen that they're using like Baofeng type radios to communicate in the Ukraine, but that's such exceptional circumstances, and people that are trying to listen in, a lot of the stuff is encrypted. So I don't think there's that much value except in these extreme circumstances, but what they have over there, they are using handheld VHF to stay in touch from what we've seen. So other than that, I think I'm going to be one and done, but I will listen in on Mark's YouTube channel. Back to you there, Brian. This is Gary, Victor Alpha 3, Golf Delta Zulu in Toronto.
VE3MIS repeater.
Of the AC, GBZ, this is the AC AZA Net Control Returning. Okay, Gary, good to talk to you. Thanks for getting us on the first round. Maybe you'll be there in a second, but at least I got you here on the first one. And yeah, that's an interesting point. It certainly, the situation in Ukraine calls for a special type of radio communications, encrypted, as you say, especially for communications relating to military activities and combat and such. So yeah, I wouldn't have much of a role to play in that, I guess, but that's one avenue, and I think a pretty reasonable point to set out. Okay, Gary, and on your inflation point, oh my goodness, I haven't really been following the predicted price of oil, I have to admit. I haven't been looking. Maybe I'm afraid to look, but if it's $200 a barrel, that's quite a bit of money. It'll have quite an impact on everything, because obviously there's so many things that are dependent upon transportation, so nothing gets away without being touched by oil at some point. So yeah, very, very interesting. I guess all the people who bought the EVs will be laughing now. But anyway, thanks for joining us on the first round there, Gary. Just going to take a quick break here, a quick drop. Okay, net control is back. Well, let's go to Peter, VE3WYD. Peter in Brampton, I hope all is well with you. Nice to hear you. Net control over to VE3WYD.
VA3AZA, this is VE3WYD. This is Peter. Welcome to everybody on net, and hello and good evening. And boy, what a week. Gary said the same thing over in Ukraine. Not much can be said right now because we want to keep the airways clean of any movement of troops or anything or whatnot. So it's better just to listen on the airwaves and not repeat too much on YouTube or video or anything else, just to help them out there. God bless them in Ukraine. Back to you, Brian.
VE3WYD, VACA today, net control returning. Oh yeah, Peter, this is quite a shock. Sure, everyone feels that way. Most people feel that way. A shock, but not a shock, I guess. A shock that it actually occurred, but not a shock because it seemed to have been set up for so long. That's just horrible. Interesting too about the secrecy in communications necessary in these types of situations. I get the feeling that I suppose shouldn't speculate too, but I have a feeling one side is doing a better job with secrecy than the other, but I don't know. Just my observations, very informal, non-specialist observations. But good to hear you, and got you down here on the list. I think you might only be in for one round, but glad you could make it in. Okay, let's go to Bob, KF5 HTU. Bob, I hope everything is well with you in Texas. Net control to KF5 HTU.
Brian, we're doing very good. VE3AZA. I always get the E's and A's wrong, but we're doing very good. I just did want to get in here real quick. We have company, and so I was going to be short time in and out, and I missed this morning the kickoff of Reg's the Lancaster. I think it was 0700 my time today, and I missed that, and I hadn't seen Reg on there this evening, so he may be off in some other part of it, celebrating the Lancaster all this month. I didn't catch all of your questions, but based on what someone said here a while ago, I think probably in certain situations, some folks are using the best communication that they have to try to stay in touch with what's going on, and to me, that's great. That's fine, especially under such adverse. And you got some places that anyway. I won't rattle on about that. It is a touching situation in the Ukraine, and I don't understand. I thought it might, didn't think it would, but it did. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for being running the net, and we'll try to catch you next week. V3AZA, K5HU, 7-3, my friend, and all. 7-3 to all.
Okay, a 5HTU, the HVA today, net control returning. Okay, Bob, we're glad you joined us. Always glad to hear from you. And yeah, the situation was a big surprise. A surprise, but not a surprise, but just unbelievable, I guess, either way. I guess in both phases of it, it was unbelievable. The build-up was unbelievable, and the actual execution was unbelievable. It was kind of just shocking all around. But yeah, that's an excellent point. Use the best available means to communicate, no matter what that may be. All right, that brings me to my list of short-time check-ins. Let's see if there are any more. Just before we go on to general check-ins for the Mississauga and Charade Club Tuesday Night Net. If you're out there and you're on short time, you won't be here for the whole net, and you'd like to check in, come now please with your call sign spelled phonetically, followed by your first name, and we'll check RF again first. RF only, please. Okay, nothing more heard for RF short time. Let's check Echolink short time, see if maybe I missed someone. Echolink short time. If you want to come in and you don't think you'll be able to stay around on Echolink or other digital means via Echolink, come now please with your call sign spelled phonetically, followed by your first name. Digital only, please.
K3HJQ, John in Australia. Good afternoon.
Mike 3 Oscar Yankee Lima, Andrew in Scotland.
Okay, net control acknowledges 2 more short time check-ins there. I've got Andrew in Scotland, and that is MM30YL, and I have got John in Australia, BK3HJQ. And John, we'll go to you first. Hope all is well with you. Although I think there's it seems like there's quite a bit of flooding in Australia. I can't remember where exactly. I saw the headlines, but I didn't look closely at the actual location. But I hope you're okay. We'll pass it. Well, I hope everyone's okay. But we'll pass it over to you, VA3A today, over to VK3HJQ.
Thanks, Brian from VK3HJQ. Yeah, got major flooding up top end of New South Wales and Queensland. They've had 8 people, I think, passed away. Thousands and thousands of houses under water. Like they've got aerial shots, and all you can see is the solar panels on the roof. People trapped on top of their roofs, been there for hours and hours. They finally got the heli choppers in there to rescue people. They were showing them rescue them yesterday. I don't know why they didn't evacuate them. Something screwy going on there, but yeah, what an absolute mess. And the weather front's heading down the east coast. I think Robert was saying Sydney was getting a fair bit of drenching as well, but up in Queensland it's just a disaster area up there. COVID cases, well, actually, they're starting to go up because they're taking all the restrictions off here. What do we have today? 7,126, 28 people in Victoria passed away. I mean, that's just crazy. And 10,650 and 5 people passed away in New South Wales. And Norm just sent me on Skype the New Zealand figures. 22,152 new cases. And they've got 405 people in hospital, so cases have gone crazy back in New Zealand. I mean, it's crazy taking the restrictions off over here, and this is what's happening. The cases going through the roof. So between that and flooding, where I am, I'm 1,500 kilometres away from the flood, so we're okay where I am. Brian, over.
VK3, HJQ, VA3, AZA, net control returning. Okay, John, that's, I know there are, over here too right now, I guess people are starting to remove some of the requirements for protection from COVID, and there's some controversy over that I've seen. It's sort of generally felt that it's a little too early, but other people who feel the other way, so I guess we'll see what happens. Unfortunately, not a very nice experiment to make, but that's kind of the way it's going here, and okay, well, you're far away from all that water, so that's good. But I was just thinking too. I don't know whether it's just whether that's the weather pattern, or whether the topography obviously has an impact on these events as well. So I don't know. Maybe some areas are more developed and they're kind of more graded and less vegetation. I don't know. But anyway. Hopefully it will pass. But judging from the number of buildings that have been kind of affected and people, it sounds like just a rather large disaster. I'm just going to drop for a second here. Anyway, John, we'll keep you, let's see, I guess, we'll keep you on the list here. I'll give you another try here on the second go as well. If you're here, that's great. If not, that's okay too. Let's see. Andrew in Scotland, MM30YL. Andrew, must be almost the middle of the night, I guess, for you. But very nice to hear from you. My name is Brian. The call is Victor Alpha 3 Alpha Zulu Alpha, and you have joined the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club 2-meter net. So welcome, and we'll pass it over to you. Net control to MM30YL.
Yeah, Mike 3 Oscar Yankee Lima. Hi, Brian. Pleased to meet you. I was speaking to a couple of guys earlier, and I don't know what happened there. It crossed over to this net, and they disappeared. So I don't know if nets cross over between each other, and you can kind of, I don't know how it works. Been on Echolink for a while. I've not used it for a while. I kind of go off and on. Same with my ham radio. If I can't be bothered, I leave it. If I can be bothered, I come into the radio show, I can use it. So, do a lot of HF. So I've been doing this hobby for since 2006. And so there you go. And John, I've not spoke to you for ages, mate. So you're probably wondering where I was. But no, it's good to hear you too, pal. We've not spoken to you for ages, so that's good. This situation is mad. With the floods in Australia, and with one thing and another. John, I heard you saying that, so I don't know, would you mind, how did that happen? I've not heard anything on the news, so how did that happen then?
MM30YL, VA3 net control. Andrew, the situation in Australia, I guess, is mostly weather related. Very driven by unusually high levels of precipitation, I think. But I don't know, maybe there were some other contributing factors in there. I don't know if John's still around. John, it's just a very unusual amount of precipitation, I believe. Is that correct? VK3, HK2, are you still there? Okay, I didn't hear him there, but I think that's what it is, Andrew. Probably there's some other contributing factors to the flooding, but I think it's just a very extraordinary amount of precipitation. But I remember this happened last year too. Same time, I guess this is the season for it in that part of the world. Anyway, anything else, Andrew? Before I guess I'm going to make a call for some general check-ins here in a little bit, but I'll pass it over to you for one more. Net control to MM30YL.
Love talking, love ham radio. The ICOM 7300 with cobweb antenna. From a 7300 and a 2-meter operation, I've got 7400 with a linear Watson. I'm just wondering, Brian, what do you use? Do you go on HF or are you always on Echolink?
And then 3OYL, the HV today net control returning. Andrew, yeah, I haven't done HF in a while, I have to admit, but I do have an HF, a couple of HF rigs, the one portable, one that sits on my desk. It's an ICOM 718, the big one. I haven't used it in a while. Of course, I'm always challenged. I live in a city, so I'm always challenged by antennas and such. But every once in a while I get something working in the backyard, and that's a little bit of HF. Of course, it's more challenging when the cycle isn't favorable. We're not in a favorable position in the cycle, but a little bit of HF, but mostly the VHF, I have to admit. And when I'm in my car, if I'm doing a long trip and there isn't too much traffic, I kind of take advantage of that. So that's where I probably spend most of my radio time, and of course on this net too. Okay, well, thanks for joining us, Andrew. I'm just going to make a quick, I guess I better turn to my general check-in, so I can take a quick drop. Okay, and we'll look for some general check-ins for the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club Tuesday night net. So let's start with RF general check-ins. If you're out there on RF only, and you'd like to check in for the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club Tuesday night net, come now please with your call sign spelled phonetically, followed by your first name.
Victor Echo 3, X-Ray Bravo Hotel, Brian. Victor Echo 3, Whiskey Bravo Foxtrot, Barry.
Okay, net control acknowledges two RF check-ins there, VE3WBF, that's Barry, and before that we had VE3XBH, that's Brian. Let's gather up some digital check-ins for the general around. So if you're out there on digital, which means basically Echolink for the most part, or some other mode that is being passed through Echolink, if you're out there on Echolink and you'd like to join us in the general check-in round, or general check-in segment, come now please with your call sign spelled phonetically, followed by your first name.
Good evening. This is Victor Echo 3, Juliet, India Whiskey, Jim, Toronto.
Okay, net control acknowledges VE3JIW on digital, and well, we got three there. We'll take these three and we'll move forward and find out if there are any more later. I just saw my radio come on here before I keyed up on Echolink, so I don't know what's going on the RF side, but we'll find out real quick. Let's go to Brian. VE3XBH. Brian, come on in. Nice to talk to you. I know you probably have a few things to say about the role of ham radio in civil defense. VA3AZA over to VE3XBH.
VA3AZA, VE3XBH. Well, Brian, the military and the sort of official communications is all going to be scrambled, so you won't be able to monitor anything going on there. I think using whatever communications device you have available is what people are going to do. Ham radio certainly is probably going to be one of them. The other thing you also have to keep in mind is there can be just as much communication on the radio as there is in social networks and that sort of thing. So again, you have to be very careful who you're talking to and who can hear you. I did read something, and I don't remember where I read it, but let me drop for a second. I did read something about if you did receive any communication or hear any communication from the Ukraine, from amateur operators, you were asked not to pass on their call sign, either on social media or over the air. If you did hear it, just to help keep them protected. So that was something that I did read. So I think it's a very difficult situation for those people there, and it's again, I think whatever you have available at hand is going to be what you're going to try and use. Certainly, trying to get information out to friends and family, whether that you're okay or that you're on the move or something. Certainly, the ham bands have historically been available for that. But I also have some other news, and I'll drop for a second. I was up this morning at 7 o'clock, kind of early for me. I usually like to sleep in a little bit, but for those who don't know, and I know Reg has been promoting it for quite a bit. I don't see him on the list, so but this is the 80th anniversary of the first flight of the Avro Lancaster, which was certainly a big part of the Second World War bombers. And throughout the month of March, there are special event stations, and I can give out the call signs for them. There's VK80 LAN, that's in Australia. GB80, that's Golf Bravo 80 LAN, which is in Great Britain, and VE80 LAN, which I believe is operating out of Hamilton. So those are three special event stations, and as far as I understand, they're going to be operating throughout the entire month of March. So they do have QSL cards and that sort of thing available, so they're encouraging people to try and get hold of them. Don't have a list of frequencies or anything like that at the moment, but if you look those call signs up on QRZ, you'll be able to find some more information. Other than that, Brian, we're doing okay, so I'll send it back to you, VA3AZA from VE3XBH.
VE3XBH, VA3AZA, Net Control returning. Okay, Brian, thank you for that information. And just to give you a read back here, so these are special event call signs in Australia, Great Britain, and Canada, celebrating the anniversary of the Avro Lancaster bomber, and those call signs are VK80 LAN, VK80 LAN in Australia, GB80 LAN in Great Britain, and VE80 LAN in Canada. So thank thank you for those call signs. Yeah, I know I've heard Reg mention it several times, and I knew he was looking for call signs in Canada, but I kind of lost track. I hadn't heard whether he found one, but I guess I set that one up. So excellent. Okay, well, thank you for your thoughts on that matter, Brian. Very wise advice, I think. And we'll keep you on the list here for a second go. And let's go down to Barry, VE3WBF. Barry, come on in. Over to you.
VA3AZA in the net. This is the E3WBF. Interesting phenomena happened a couple of mornings ago. I got up at 5:30 and to go to work and wandered downstairs in the dark and was putting on my fleece and over my jammies, and there was a light flash. There was a little flash of light every so often. And it turned out that the static electricity on my fleece was firing off a dead fluorescent bulb that was waiting to be recycled. So that was pretty neat. That was my physics lessons for the week. This is VE3WBF. Back to net. Over.
Oh, the E3WBF, the A3A controller trading. Okay, very, yeah, kind of interesting. That's, that would be, I guess, that's pretty early. But at least it has the advantage of being dark. That's a time when you would see something like that, because I imagine there's not a lot of energy. Well, maybe a lot of energy from that kind of event, but, yeah, that's pretty neat. It's, every once in a while you do, in lower light conditions, you do get a chance to see those static phenomena. It's surprising how bright they can be if that the background light is low enough. So kind of neat. Okay, we'll keep you on the list for a second go, Barry, and let's go down to VE3JIW. Jim, good to hear from you, and hope all is well. We'll pass it over to you. Net control to VE3JIW.
Well, thank you. This is the E3JIW. Well, there's only a couple of times where having a radio was handy. There was, I think it was 0304, August 16th, 4 p.m. Power went out all over Ontario. I was in a Palladium. That's a place that has computer games. People pay money to pay the games. And I blew a really big fuse changing a set of batteries. And almost at the exact moment, the power went out in the room, the UPS was screaming, the emergency lights came on, and I thought I had tripped a fuse that ran back into their electrical system, causing their electrical system to collapse. I then I had my Yaesu with me, and I went out in the office, and I see people pouring out of square one. And there's a guy in Mississauga talking, a guy in Milton talking about the power outage. And they were able to tell me what the outage was. You know, it was province and running into the States way before the radio stations could get back on the air. I mean, 680 News went off the air a couple of times. I'm going to trip. And I'm back. So the thing is, when things go wrong, turn on your radio and scan around. I mean, I was driving in Mississauga and I needed gas. Beautiful afternoon, power goes out. Well, Jeff happened to be on the repeater. And our repeater is supported by backup power, by the way. Anyway, he confirmed that it was a small outage. So I just hung out the petrol can until power came on and bought gas. But that 0304 Thursday afternoon power outage, I knew I had to tidy up what I was doing, replace the big fuse, a 30-amp fuse on 24 volts, gives you a really big boom, blast. Anyway, I replaced the fuse, took the battery, got myself out of there, and I was thinking, how am I going to get across the city? I'm at square one Steeles and I want to get to QEW and 427, I took Burnhamthorpe. Trip. And I knew it was a long-range outage, and I was listening through the night to the guys at the TOR and TRO repeaters. They were running all through the event. Had an idea what was going on. So when there is an event, turn on your radio and listen, because there is information out there. None of the agencies are needing us right now. So you aren't going to find yourselves welcomed by police, fire, ambulance. But you can be in your neighborhood and you will know what's going on a lot better than most of your neighbors. Then back to Ned from the E3JIW.
Oh, the VE3JIW, the VA3 net control returning. Okay, Jim, I guess most of us that lived in Ontario for a couple of decades would recall that massive power outage. I was actually on a beach in Lake Erie with my kids, I remember, and I didn't know anything about it until we hit upon the broken stoplights coming back into Chatham from Erio. But those sorts of events are the events that really make you turn on the radio and listen carefully and have maybe get information if it's available. It's funny though that as you say, these agencies, police, fire, or others, don't really have any kind of regular liaison with amateurs. And it's funny, I was just thinking as you were saying that I know the police department has what they call auxiliaries, police auxiliaries, which I guess they're not police officers, but they're people who volunteers, I guess. But in terms of communications, there's I don't know whether they have that in the police department. I don't think so. But yeah, I'm curious. There's no interface there between those agencies and other organizations like amateurs. But okay, Jim, I'm just going to drop for a second here.
I have something more to add.
Oh, Roger, go ahead. Net control to VE3JIW.
Well, let's see. Are we listening to your fish tank while you're on the air? Is that your fish tank in the background? No. During that event, before the police were really well set up downtown, there were some hams directing traffic at major intersections. There were hams in downtown Toronto, and the police were down to 2 frequencies. They were absolutely swamped. And there were some regular duty police officers. They stumbled across a ham who could get in touch with the EOC, the Emergency Operations Center on Don Mills, and I'm not sure it has any amateur radio presence. The building across from the Science Center, east side of Don Mills, it has a 911 call center and computer rooms and stuff, but I'm not sure if they still have an amateur station. But at that time, there were some hams in downtown that, to ad hoc or just spur of the moment, some police used the amateur radio guy to reach the EOC because the police radios were swamped. The poor officers couldn't get a word in edgewise, and they probably had no experience working a pileup. If you're a ham and if you've worked a pileup and you've done nets under trying times, it'll do you well if you can check your ego at the door if there is some big weather or electricity. You know, all it takes is an update at some company's computer room that takes... It took all of Rogers off the air a few months ago. They were off the air for hours just because of a computer upgrade. So there's many reasons why you could suddenly be faced with very little normal communication. Anyway, back to net, Brian. Thanks, Stewie. You could tell us what the water running in the background is.
probably E3, JW, VE3MIS next junction. I don't know, Jim. If there's sound of water running, I don't know if they're hearing it right now, but in the vicinity, it seems to be quiet. I don't hear anything. I've got the usual headset on here. It's the Logitech, which seems to work better than the other one. It's going through Echolink, and I'm not sure. I saw some notes earlier that there was the audio was different, but I don't know what it is. I'm just not sure. I double checked my Echolink setup to make sure I was not talking into the webcam microphone. That happened one night, but I seem to be hooked into the right device here, so I'm not sure. Maybe someone has some ideas out there. Okay, well, let's see. I'm going to go down to, Mark has got a text check-in. I don't know if he wants to do a voice check-in, but let's see if he wants to. VA3HES, Mark, if you want to come in, come on in now. And I control the VA3HES.
He said he's out of transmit range.
Oh, Roger, okay. So I got him on, I got his check-in on the text, so that's okay. So Sean says I have lots of bass in my voice here. Audio is bad. What I did to it, it used to work reasonably well. Okay, well, I'll have to go and look at that. I hope it's decipherable. Well, let's see. That brings us to the end of the little list of Echolink check-ins there. Maybe there's a couple more Echolink check-ins that we can gather up here. So if you're out there and you want to check in on Echolink or digital, come now, please do your call sign, spelled phonetically, followed by your first name.
Quick recheck, Brian, VK3HJQ.
VK3HJQ. John, sure, come on in, over to you.
Just got to turn Joe Boy down. He's live from Washington, all over our network here in Australia. Your audio sounds terrible, Brian. I don't know what you're using, but when you obviously must turn your head, so I don't know, another microphone's picking up the audio. They get this echo, and it's really bassy. It sounds yucky. And just a quick report, Reg Boy is connected up on the ham conference here, but I think he went to lunch earlier. We had the celebration opening last night. It was 11 p.m. local time. Mississauga was connected in. We had about, 100 or so connections on the network. There was stacks and stacks of people connected in. Lasted for 2.5 hours. Reg couldn't get his laptop working in the radio room of the Lancaster. We tested it the day before and it worked fine. Then they found out that the guest connection was overloaded because they had heaps of people trying to use the internet connection, so Reg had to come back on his phone. But we had stations from UK, Canada in there, and of course Australia. Reg was doing it live from the Lancaster. They had another station under the Bombay of the Lancaster. We had 4 RAAF bases in the UK that checked in. It was just a fantastic evening, Brian. Over.
VK3HJQ, VA3AZA, net control return. Okay, Don, sounds good. So, you had many check-ins for that event, and I think you said it was 100, so that's quite remarkable. And maybe Reg is here. I don't know. He might be tied up, but as for my audio, just while you were talking, I was trying to make sure my all these other microphones on this computer were turned off. Maybe something was coming through one of those other microphones. I've got my radio, I turned that down. And I don't think it's transmitting, so it's good. So I don't know if it's any better. But it's funny, this is the usual headset. So I'll have to do some experimenting, figure out what's going on here. But anyway, we'll keep an eye on it. Maybe you send me some text messages if it sounds like it's better. And I'll see what I can do as I go along here. Quick break. Okay, net control is returned. Oh, let's see. So I think we'll try one more call here at the end of the first round, then we'll start our 7-3 round after that. If there's anyone out there who would like to join us, RF or Echolink will make either this time around. at the end of the first round of the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club 2-meter net. Come now, please. Your call sign spelled phonetically, followed by your first name.
Alpha 3, Whiskey Mike, John.
Okay, I think I heard from, I think that was RF2, that was VA3WM, Victor Alpha 3 Whiskey Mike, John. And John, good to hear from you, glad you were able to make it in. And I hope all was well. Sorry about my audio, there's something up here. Yeah, apparently it sounds like sand or water running according to Jim. So I have no idea what that is. Maybe it is. There is a fan running on my computer, I can feel it. But who knows, maybe that's the problem. But let's pass it over to John. VA3A today, over to VA3WM.
VE3MIS and the Mississauga net. This is John, Victor Alpha 3, Whiskey Mike in Niagara. Well, Brian, it sounds like you're in the bottom of a barrel. And, you got that echoing noise going on. It's not an echo, but that's just what it sounds like to me here. I'm using All-Star tonight, and it's pretty good on the sound quality. And I just have gotten into the habit of using All-Star whenever I can. So, anyways, all is good here. I guess we had a bit of snow last Friday, but, the roads are clear, driveway's clear. Hopefully there'll be no more snow. And hope everybody had a great Pancake Tuesday. That's what it is today. So if you didn't get any pancakes, you still got time before midnight. VA3AZA, VA3WM.
VA3WM, VA3AZA, net controller training. Okay, John, and thanks for the reminder there on the pancakes. I'll have to get myself busy. I think I might have something approximate that I can put in the toaster there, and I'd enjoy it. So, anyway, that's good. Good to hear from you. And I was mistaken. For some reason, I thought you're on RF, but you're actually on the ham conference. So, using All-Star. So good for you. That's another way to get in. Okay, that brings me down to the end of the list, and let's see if there's anyone else out there. Well, I've only just one more call, and then we'll go up to the top. Is anyone else out there who'd like to join us? The Mississauga Amateur Radio Club 2-meter net at the end of the first round of general check-ins. Come out, please. What's your call sign spelled phonetically, followed by your first name?
Kilo Echo 0, Zulu Romeo X-ray, Matt in Rapid City, South Dakota.
KDOs at RX, Matt in South Dakota. This is VA3A today, net control. The name here is Brian. This is the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club 2-meter net, and welcome to the net. We'll pass it over to net control to KDOs at RX.
Hey, thanks, Brian, and the net. Thanks for letting me stop by. I'm on Echo Link. Kilo Echo 0, Zulu Romeo X-ray. Kind of picking around. I got a update on my phone, so I'm making sure that Echo Link still works. Brian, I do think your audio sounds pretty good, actually. I kind of like the old sort of, listen to a lot of old Art Bell shows, and they always have that static in the background. I was kind of like that, so you can count me on your side there. I'm not bothered by the audio. Things are good out here, South Dakota. I live in a cabin just on the south side of Rapid City, and I'm training a 7-month-old Vizsla puppy. I don't hunt or anything, but I do run a lot, or at least I try to. At my age, it's not as easy, but so I'm hoping, in about 5 or 6 months, should be good enough to go running with me. So weather's good here. I did not have any pancakes. Apologize for that. Maybe I can still get 1 or 2 tonight, but again, that's what's going on here in South Dakota. Thanks for taking my check-in. This is KE0ZRX, back to net.
Okay, E0ZRX, VE3MIS net control training. Okay, Matt, I have one mic there. I've got one mic on my audio tonight, so that's good. And yeah, you might have some company. You might have some company in a few months for your jogging. Good for you. And I guess, yeah, as far as the pancakes go, I probably could. You probably got an hour or so on it. But you're probably an hour earlier, maybe 2 hours earlier in South Dakota. So you never know. You got more time than I do. If you're in Mississauga, it's about 9:25 p.m. So I better get busy on my pancakes. Otherwise, I'm going to miss it. So anyway, you're in a slightly better position. Well, thanks for checking in. I'm glad to have you anytime. The Mississauga Amateur Radio Club runs this net every week on Tuesday at 8 p.m. from 8:30 p.m. until we finish. So 8:30 locally. So you're certainly welcome to come along if you're available. Okay, well that brings me down to the bottom of the first round. Let's go up to the top. I'm going to take a quick break here, give our repeaters a rest. Just stand by for 1 second. And VE3MIS is back. Just took a little extra time there to watch my local repeater turn it off and make sure it was coming off when I took that break. So let's see. We'll go up to the top of our list, and we got some people who sometimes are here on the second round, even though they were short time check-ins earlier. So we'll just give them a quick try. Let's see if VA3GTZ Gary is still there. Gary, if you're still there, come on in. Over to you. Okay, nothing heard from Gary. And let's try VE3WYD, and that's Peter. Peter, if you're still there, come on in. Over to you.
VA3AZA, this is VE3WYD. Hello, Brian, and everyone on net. I hung around for the second round, and to me, I thought your audio was good this evening. So there is a little bit of static in the background, but it's not overbearing or anything. Enjoyed all the comments and ideas that were on the net this evening, and 73 to everyone. And this is VE3WYD to VA3AZA. Back to you, Brian.
VE3WYD, VA3AZA, net control returning. Okay, Peter, good to hear from you, and always look forward to hearing from you. Let's see here. That's okay. Bob, I think, is away. Yeah, Bob's usually in for one round there. And John, okay, we heard from John, but we'll give him another try too. VK2HJQ. John, come on in for the 7-3 round. Over to you.
Thanks, Brian from VK3HJQ. And let's turn Joe Boy down. Looks like he's going to fix 65,000 miles of highway and bridges. Boy, you must have a lot of highways over there that need repair. Anyway, all good. Yeah, your audio's got a lot of bass in it, Brian. Needs a bit of high end. Needs a bit of treble in it. That's about the only comment. I can't hear what people are hearing in the background. Somebody said something about a fish tank or fans. I can't notice any of that, but yeah, definitely a lot of bass in it. So I'm quite sure what microphone you're using. Maybe you've got an external one, or you're using a headset, or you're using a laptop with a mic. I don't know, but when you turn away, it gets very echoey. So anyway, it is what it is. Stop whinging, John. What else did I have to report? Nothing much else other than the Lancaster event last night. Yeah, we had MIS connected in, so I connected in all the stations that normally connect into Reg's Friday Night TechNet. I just took a copy of the whole list that was on the Echolink screen and connected them all up last night. And yeah, we had an absolute ball. It was just great fun. Thanks, Brian, for the net. Back to net control, VK3HJQ.
VK3HJQ, VA3AZA, net control training. And yeah, it sounds good, John. That's quite an event. Lots of participation there. So yeah, and as for this microphone, it's a boom microphone attached to a headset, which is going into the computer. But yeah, as I say, I'm surprised. It's the same one I've used, but who knows? Maybe I've done something into my cabling. I double checked it on the Equalink client software here. It seems to be picking the right microphone, but anyway, I'll have to do some more experimenting. Okay, thank you very much for joining us, and look forward to hearing from you again. Let's try Andrew in Scotland, MM30YL. Andrew, if you're still there, come on in for a 7-3 round. Over to you. Okay, nothing heard from MM30YL. And let's see, Brian is next on the list. VE3XBH, Brian. And Brian will pass it to you for a 7-3 comment. Net control to VE3XBH.
VE3 as today, VE3XBH returning. Well, Brian, good net tonight. Thank you for doing the net tonight. Your microphone is, it's a little on the bassy side. It almost sounds like you're talking off the access or from the back side of the mic, but I don't know. Like John says, it is what it is. So we can still hear you, we can still understand you, and that's the main thing. So other than that, nothing else. Just hope everybody stays well, and we'll be talking to you soon. So I'll send it back to you, Brian. VA3 as today from VE3XBH.
VE3XBH, VA3 today, next thing. Okay, Brian. Well, gee, maybe I flipped the boom around the wrong way or something. I think I've got it on the right side. You never know. There might be some. I don't seem to see right. But anyway, I'll take a look at it. I'll have to do my echo test on that for like 2 to give me a better idea of what might be happening. Okay, and let's see if Barry's still there. VE3WBF. Barry, if you're still there, come on in. Net control to VE3WBF.
Net control, this is VE3WBF. Yes, I'm still here, and it's getting a little close to my bedtime since I get up very early in the morning. Anyways, I thought I'd say 73 to all on net, and wish everybody a good evening, and stay safe. This is Victor Echo 3, Whiskey Bravo Foxtrot. Back to net. Over.
VE3WBF, VA3 today, net control. Okay, very good to hear from you. Very good to hear from you. I look forward to hearing from you the next set as well. And that brings me down to Jim, VE3JW. Jim, come on in for a 7-3 round. Over to you.
Yeah, well, it's been a fine net. You've got a crowd of people. You know, the net last week I had like 4 or 5 check-ins, and I was done by 9:01. There is something in the background around you that your microphone is picking up really well, but it's down at 10% of your audio. You've been perfectly readable the whole net. You've heard all the check-ins. You've acknowledged everybody. Don, DBM, you sometimes used to do the nets. Have you heard from Don? I haven't heard him on our net, even coming into our nets. Have you heard from Don, DBM?
VE3JW, VA3 today, net control returning. Okay, good question, Jim. Occasionally he's been on the net, and you're right. He used to be net control. He did that for a couple of years, I think. And then he did regularly participate. We used to hear him almost every week or so. But I haven't heard. He hasn't been on as often lately. So no, I haven't. I think he was probably on in the last month or so. I do recall him fairly recently. But yeah, he's definitely not as much as at one time. But I know he's got a kind of an interesting setup too. And he used to come in from his QTH, so that was kind of neat. That was a little bit of a long haul. He was out there in outside the city of Toronto. So that was kind of neat when he could do that. Over to you.
Well, I know when our repeater was acting up, I could work him simplex from my car and he to me and me to him up in Kleinberg. So, I just noticed I haven't heard his melodious tones, and you haven't heard anything either. We're all getting on in life. I just hope when I pop off, my wife will send an email or a phone call out to somebody basically announcing the radio sale starts tomorrow.
Oh, VE3XH, VA3A today, next person. Okay, yeah, well, there you go. There you go, Jeff. You need, maybe special instructions. We all need special instructions. For that, I guess. But anyway, I haven't heard anything from them recently, except they probably would have months or so ago I heard him on the net. He's probably okay. Anyway, let's see. Let's go down to who's next on our list here? Oh, John, VA3WM. John and John. John is on. He's on digital. He told me which one he was on. He mentioned that, and I got it wrong the first time, so I thought it was on RF. He can tell us when he gets on here. Net control to VA3WM. John, come on in.
VA3 is at 8 from VA3WM. Well, Brian, a great net. Had a lot of good conversations and comments from people, and maybe I was a little too harsh on your audio. It's perfectly legible, but so I don't know what's causing the anomalies that you're experiencing. But anyways, great hearing everybody on the net, and I'll pass it back to you. 7-3 to all.
VA3WM, VA3A today, next person. Okay, John, excellent to hear from you. Always good to hear from you. I'm wondering, I've got my SPU19 kit plugged into the desktop here, but there's nothing plugged in on the other end. So I wonder if that, I've got a lot of wires hanging out of this thing, so who knows? But maybe they're all acting like antennas, but anyway, it's a little bit of a puzzle to work on. Good to hear from you, John. And let's see, that brings me to Matt in South Dakota, KE0ZRX. Matt, if you want to come in, if you're still there, please do. This is our 7-3 round, and I'll pass it to you. VA3A today over to KE0ZRX. Okay, nothing heard from KE0ZRX, and I guess that brings us to the end of our day. But maybe one more call. We'll just do one more little call here and see if there's anyone else out there. If there's anyone else who wants to come in at the very end of the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club Simulator Net, either RF or Echolink, digital, whatever digital means you have at your disposal, come now please with your call sign spelled phonetically followed by your first name. Okay, nothing heard. So I guess that is it for our net. And thank you very much for joining us tonight. It's always lots of fun to take the net and hear what everyone has to contribute. If you have any comments, thoughts, or suggestions, you can contact us via email at VE3MIS@RAC.ca. That's Victor Echo 3 Mike India Sierra at Romeo Alpha Charlie Charlie Alpha. This is Victor Alpha 3 Alpha Zulu Alpha. Brian, closing the net and returning the repeater to general use in a few minutes. It's going to time out and disconnect. Thank you all for your participation, and 7-3.